Hello everyone. So in this question we are given two positive integers n and k. So n is the number of children and children are numbered from 0 to n minus 1. Initially child 0 is holding a ball and he is passing the ball to child 1, child 2 and so on. And when the ball reaches the last child, the direction of passing is reversed. So we need to tell the number of child who receives the ball after k seconds. So number means the index of the child who receives the ball after k seconds. So let's take an example. So let's take the first test case, n equals to 3, k equals to 5. So n equals to 3 means we have 3 children whose index are 0, 1 and 2, and initially the ball is with the first child. Now what happens is in 1 second the ball gets passed to the next child. So from 0 it will get passed to 1. From 1 it will get passed to 2. Now when the ball reaches the last child, the direction of passing is reversed. So that means 2 then passes the ball to 1 and 1 then passes the ball to 0. And now what will happen? Again the direction of passing will be reversed. So from 0 the ball will again go to 1 and then it will again go to 2. Okay. So we can definitely see that there's a pattern and we can arrive at a mathematical solution to this. But before doing that, let's look at the constraints of this problem. So the constraints are given. N varies from 2 to 50 and k is also at max 50. Since the constraints of this problem is very less, we can directly brute force this. So what will be the brute force solution? The brute force solution is quite simple. We can just simulate what is happening. So now we have to simulate this process for k equals to 5. So what we'll do? We'll go from k equals to 1 to k equals to 5 and then we'll have a variable. Let's call this variable, let's call this answer. So answer will be the index of the child who has the ball currently. Okay, now what's happening is there are two directions of passing the ball. What's the two direction? One is left to right and the other is right to left. So we need to figure out if the current passing is left to right or is it right to left. So initially it is going from 0 to 1 and then it's going from 1 to 2. So initially it's left to right and when it reaches the last side it will become right to left. And again when it reaches the first child the passing will become left to right. So we need to create a variable. So let's create a variable called flag and let's denote this direction by 1 and let's denote this direction by 0. So initially we are going from left to right, so we'll set the flag to 1. Okay. Now what happens when we reach the last child? So let's say if the current child, that is the answer, if it is the last child, what's the index of the last child? It's n minus 1. Then the direction of passing will be right to left. So we'll set the flag to 0. And if the current child is 0, if the index of the current child is 0, then the direction of passing will be left to right. So we'll set the flag to 1. Okay. Now obviously there will be two cases, if flag and else if not flag. Now what will be the two cases? Now how will we determine the index of the child? So let's say we are at 0 and the direction of passing is left to right. So what will happen? The index will increase by 1. It will be 0 to 1 and then it's 1 to 2. So we'll just do answer plus plus, and when it's right to left, it's the index of the child is decreasing. So we can just do answer minus minus, and we'll run this loop k times because each passing takes 1 second and k is the number of seconds. And when this is done, we can just return the answer. And if you will submit this solution will work. And here's my solution. It's the same logic that I have explained. And if you submit this code, this will pass because the constraints are very less. Now, how can we arrive at a mathematical solution to this? So this, see, this takes an order of k, right? Because we are traversing this loop k times. K is the number of seconds, and number of seconds is at max 50. So that's why it's kind of a constant time. But if the constants are very large, then we would have to find this mathematical solution. So how can we find this mathematical solution? Let's go to the previous example. That n is 3 and k is 5. N is 3 and k is 5. Now, in our Bruteforce logic, what's the main thing? One is the direction and one is the number of time. Number of time, or k, we can say k. Now, let's say k, k was 6. If k was 6, then what will happen? It's 0, 1, 2. So, for t question will be here, then we'll be at t equals to 2. At t equals to 3 will be here, and at t equals to 4 we will be here. So, if k was 6, and then at t equals to 5 will be, and at t equals to 6 we will be here. So what's happening? If we can see, at t equals to 2 we are here, at t equals to 4 we are here, at t equals to 6 we are here. Okay, and here we are t equals to 0, and then at so 0, 1, 2, 3, at t equals to 4 we are here, and at t equals to 6 we are again here. Then at t equals to 6 we will be at the initial position. So how can we find? So first we have to find the directions. So how can we find the direction? Whether it's left to right or it's right to left, we can just divide n by k. So if we do n by k, that is the total number of rounds. Let's call this total number of rounds. So if we do n by k, what's the total number of rounds? So if we do 5 by 3, it will be 1. So it's 1. Now total number of round 1 means we are going from that we are at least here, that we have completed one round. We have completed one round. So one round is, let's say this is equals to j, t equals to n minus 1. So one round is from 0 to n minus 1, or from g. So it's one round, and then if we come back from n minus 1 to j, it's another round. Okay. So n by k will give whether we are at 0 or we are at n minus 1. Now, if we are at 0, then direction will be left to right, and if we are at n minus 1, the direction will be right to left. So, how can we know the direction? So, if see, and again at t equals to 3, we will be at n minus 1. So, if let's call this x1 now. So, if this x is odd, if x multi equals to 1, then that means we are at n minus 1. Let's call this answer for now, n minus 1, or let's call this index for now. Okay, and if this x is even, then that means we are at 0th index. Okay, now what's the remaining time? So n minus k is this, and what will be the remaining time that we have to, it's just n mod k. Why? Because see, we n by k tells us we have traversed for how much time? We have traversed how much seconds we have traveled? We have traveled this x times, we have traveled this x times k seconds. And what will the remaining? So it will just be the remainder. Now n mod k will be the remaining time that we have to travel. Okay. Now so we, if we are at starting, then what's the index of the child we want? So see, from 0 it will go to 1. So if the remaining time is 1, we will be at 1. And if the remaining time is 2, then we will be at 2. And if there are more childs, and so we just add the remaining time. So if x mod k is equals to 0, what would be the, so if x is 0, that means we are at I equals to 0, then we can just return what? Remainder. Why? Because remainder will tell us, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So at t equals to 1 will be here, at t equals to 2 will be here, at t equals to 3 will be here, and at remainder is 4 then will be here, and so on. So we can just return the remainder. But if this is even, then what will we return? So it's just like remainder from the back. So at t equals to 1 will be at 5, at t equals to 2 will be here. So it will be just n minus remainder. So we, and this solution will give a, will pass in or one time. So you can either directly use the brute force approach since the constants are very less, or you can just find this mathematical solution. Both will work.